All right, welcome. Today, we are going to crack the code on a skill that can, and I mean this, literally define your career: the business presentation. We're not just talking about public speaking here. We're talking about how you command a room, influence big decisions, and get real results.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The research on this is absolutely definitive. This is not some fluffy, soft skill. As you can see, study after study confirms that oral communication is the single most important thing employers are looking for. In a tough job market, this is what's going to set you apart from everyone else.
So that leads us to the big question, right? We've all been there, that pre-presentation pressure, the butterflies in your stomach. But what if there was a repeatable system to turn all that nervous energy into pure, persuasive confidence? Well, today, we're going to build that exact system.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why this matters so much. Then, we'll build the actual blueprint step by step. After that, we'll talk about structuring your message, finding your own delivery style, and finally, how to supercharge it all with great visuals. Let's dive in. Okay, first up, why speaking skills matter. Let's get right to the heart of it. Why is this skill consistently ranked as the absolute #1 thing you need for career success?
Let's just look at the data. When over 350 managers were surveyed about the most critical skills for new grads, the results were crystal clear. As you can see on the chart, oral communication was #1. It actually beat out problem solving and self-motivation. That's huge.
You know, we use this skill in two main arenas, in-person and virtual. And while things like conference calls are a huge part of work today, we're really going to zero in on those face-to-face presentations. Why? Simple. That's where the stakes are highest and honestly where you can make the biggest possible impact.
Okay, now for the fun part, your presentation blueprint. And here's the big secret. You ready? Great presentations aren't some kind of magic talent. They are engineered. They're built. So let's get into the step-by-step guide that will help you build a fantastic presentation from scratch. And here it is. This is the 5-step process that the pros rely on every single time. It's a strategic flow, right? You start with your purpose and your audience, then you build your core idea and structure, and you finish by absolutely nailing the beginning and the end. This is your formula for success. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with step 1, defining your purpose. This can't be some vague, fuzzy idea. It has to be a specific, measurable goal. You have to ask yourself, when I finish speaking, what is the one thing I want my audience to think, feel, or do? Now, this next step is completely non-negotiable. You can't create your message in a vacuum. You have to analyze your audience first. Who are these people? Are they experts or total beginners? Are they already on your side or are they skeptical? How you answer these questions will literally shape every single word you say. And all that audience analysis directly tells you what type of presentation to build. I mean, look at this table. It's just common sense, right? You wouldn't give a complex project proposal to new employees, just like you wouldn't give a basic company orientation to a room full of bankers. Matching the format to your audience is a critical strategic move. Okay, so our foundation is solid, we know our purpose, and we understand our audience. Now it's time to actually build the message itself. Any great presentation has a clear, compelling structure with 3 key parts. This chart gives you the perfect way to think about your time. Notice the balance here. You've got a brief, powerful intro to hook 'em and a short, concise conclusion to drive your point home. But look at that massive slice of the pie, the body. That's where you spend over 80% of your time delivering the good stuff. Now, when it comes to that huge body section, the secret is focus. Our brains are just not wired to absorb a fire hose of information. That's why you have to resist the urge to say everything. Limit yourself to no more than 5 main points. Seriously, clarity will always, always beat quantity. Think of your intro and your conclusion as the bookends of your presentation. They hold the whole thing together. You have to start with a bang, a great story, a surprising fact, something that makes people sit up and listen. And you have to end with a powerful closing that makes your key idea absolutely unforgettable. So, your message is built. Now what? How do you actually deliver it? Because the style you choose can totally change how your message is received. Let's explore the options. So, you basically have 2 extremes. You can read it word for word from a script, but that can feel a little robotic. Or you could just wing it, which is pretty risky.
Each has its place, but for most business situations, the perfect style is actually a mix of the two.
This right here is the sweet spot for most of us, speaking from notes, not reading from a script. When you use brief notes or cue cards, you can maintain that crucial eye contact, keep a conversational tone, and still stay perfectly on track. It is truly the best of both worlds. All right, finally, let's talk about your secret weapon, visual aids. Because when you use them the right way, they don't just back up what you're saying, they amplify your message and make it stick. And you have a whole toolkit of visuals to pick from. But the rule is really simple. Don't just pick one because you like it. You have to choose the visual that most powerfully and clearly supports the exact point you're trying to make in that moment.
And since PowerPoint is so common, let's nail this down. The rule is simple. The slide supports you. You do not support the slide. Keep your layout clean, use keywords, and most importantly, never ever just turn around and read what's on the screen. Your job is to add the insight and the story.
If you need a simple guideline to keep your slides clean, just remember this number, 7. It's called the 7 by 7 rule, and it's a fantastic little checkpoint. Try to have no more than 7 lines per slide, and about 7 words per line. It forces you to be concise, and your audience will thank you for it.
So let's bring it all home. This whole blueprint, it's not just about building a presentation. It's about systematically building your confidence. Because when you are thoroughly prepared, that fear, that anxiety, it just doesn't have a place to live. Preparation is the ultimate antidote.
So, we'll leave you with this question. You now have the exact framework that top professionals use. For your very next presentation, which one of these steps are you going to intentionally focus on to take your skills and your career to a whole new level?